In the months leading up to my diagnosis, I was desperate for answers. First, the ER told me it was a bad stomach bug. Later, another doctor suspected liver failure, even hepatitis C, and I feared something was very wrong with my liver. At one point, I even thought it was fibromyalgia, but none of those diagnoses explained what was really happening to me. I had fatigue so crushing I could barely get through the day. Night sweats that soaked my sheets, intense itching, swollen lymph nodes in my neck and groin, and belly pain. And I was losing weight rapidly. The signs were all there. I just didn't know what they meant. By the time I was diagnosed with stage 3 follicular lymphoma, my body was in crisis. If you're wondering what starting lymphoma treatment is really like, this video will walk you through exactly what happened to me, including one of the scariest experiences of my life, and how treatment eventually led to healing. Hi, I'm Joey, and I'm living with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Here on Thriving with Cancer, I share real stories, treatment tips, and clear answers to help others feel less alone. When I first started chemotherapy treatment, I was weak and severely underweight. My body felt like it could collapse at any moment. Still, we started, and almost immediately, something incredible happened. By the very next day, just like my doctor had promised, the pain began to ease. It wasn't gone, but it was enough relief to remind me there was hope. Those first days were a whirlwind. Education sessions, paperwork, learning about medications, and deciding whether to get a port. At the time, I said no, and I didn't realize how much I'd regret that decision later. Just 12 days into treatment, everything took a terrifying turn. I developed a rare and dangerous allergic reaction to allopurinol, a gout preventative they give patients. The reaction is called DRESS syndrome, and it nearly shut my body down. My face blistered, my kidneys began to fail, and I spent 10 days in the oncology ward fighting through it. It was painful, scary, and exhausting, but eventually the reaction was identified, the medication was stopped, and I slowly started to recover. Thankfully, I didn't have to stop chemo, and my body responded incredibly well. Even though the start was rough, by month 3, I had what oncologists call no evidence of disease. My scans were clear. My lymph nodes, which had been swollen everywhere, neck, chest, abdomen, groin, bowel, had dramatically shrunk. It felt like a miracle. I had thought a lot about Jane Fonda, who had shared in a magazine article that she was NED after 3 months of lymphoma treatment, and I held on to that as motivation. I still had months of treatment ahead, first with bendamustine and rituxan twice a week, then moving to once a week, and finally every 3 weeks for 6 months. By the time I was medically required to get a port, my veins were already hardened, and honestly, the port made treatment so much easier. If you're on the fence about getting one, I can tell you, I wish I'd done it sooner. Little by little, I regained strength and confidence that the worst was behind me, which made the moment we celebrated my last chemo all the more powerful. The entire nursing team gathered around to cheer, clap, and have me pick a stone with a word on it. I chose one and it said grace. It was such a powerful moment, a reminder that even through everything I'd endured, there was still beauty, still hope, still a future. By that time, my heart rate had dropped frighteningly low, sometimes into the 40s. But with time, I healed, and I was finally able to say the words I had been waiting for. I was cancer-free, but my story doesn't end there. My cancer journey has had more twists and turns, including relapse and refractory disease, and I'll share what happened next in an upcoming video. If you're just starting treatment or supporting someone who is, I hope this story helps you know what can happen and reminds you that healing is possible, even after a very rough start. If you want to know more about what treatment is really like, whether you should get a chemo port, watch this video next. And if you haven't yet, subscribe for more real stories and research-backed tips to help you feel less alone. Thank you.